Montgomery County, Ohio. Last night around 11:15, there was a very large weather event that came through Montgomery County, the northern part. Damage started in Brookville, Clay Township, Perry Township, moved across into Harrison Township, Clayton, Dayton, leaving a lot of destruction in its path. The great thing about everything that's happened so far, we have not had any serious injuries, fatalities. We obviously still out buildings, but as of right now, that is good news. I want to take this time to thank the men and women of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, the Harrison Township Fire Department, and all the other agencies that have been out since 10 o'clock last night running towards the bad weather as opposed to being in basements, looking for people who were injured and helping people get out of their houses. Everyone you see around here, from the rescue services to the fire department to law enforcement, have been at this pretty much all night, and there's no end in sight about when they're going to be able to go home. So I want to thank them. We also want to remind the listeners that people prey on disastrous situations, so be aware of scams while you're out there. Be aware of fake phone calls asking for donations. Just be aware of things like that. It's no different than security at businesses where we worry about looting. People are always going to try to take advantage, and we want everybody listening to know to make sure it's a reputable place when they're dealing with donations and helping any way they can. So with that said, I want to introduce Senator Rob Portman. Thank you, Senator, for coming.
Sure. Now, when you look at the damage in this neighborhood and in 4 or 5 other neighborhoods in the Dayton area, it's a miracle that nobody was killed. The damage is substantial. It came at about 11 o'clock at night here. Thank goodness it was 11 o'clock at night, not 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm here to thank the first responders. They have been awesome. They've been up all night. We have first responders here from all over the state: Cleveland, Columbus, urban search and rescue teams, the urban search and rescue team here in the Dayton, Southwest Ohio area. The Sheriff's Department has been awesome. The fire departments in the area, we're going to hear from Chief Lynch in a minute here from Harrison Township Fire Department, have been incredible. And I want to thank the Red Cross. Once again, they are doing the heavy lifting here, helping people. And we're about to go to one of the shelters nearby in Vandalia, but they're always on the scene right away, and people really appreciate what they're doing. This is going to be tough for this community. It was hit hard. It's going to take a while to recover, and the federal government's going to play a role. So I've been in touch already this morning with Tom Stickrath, who is the Ohio Director of Department of Public Safety and the person who's coordinating this for Governor DeWine. We're going to get an assessment as soon as we can, and then I'm going to try to help in every way we can to expedite the federal assistance here. Some assistance for small businesses, assistance for individuals. We need to be sure that we have the federal government fully involved with a disaster declaration that I hope will be forthcoming quickly. I also want to be sure and tell the people who are in these homes that our prayers are with them, our hearts are with them. This community came together. I heard a lot of stories this morning about neighbor helping neighbor, and whether it was helping pull a tree off of a building or helping get some older people out of their homes, the community came forward and helped each other, and that's obviously something that we love about our state and this community, is that people help each other. But there's a lot more work to be done, and the federal government will play a role in that, and that's why I'm here today to, again, say thank you to the first responders, tell the people who are affected that we're going to be there for them, and be sure the federal government's doing everything it can. Chief Lynch, you want to say a few words?
Yes.
His guys have been out here all night. I just talked to a couple of them. They were on a shift that started at 7 o'clock yesterday morning, but they didn't get off because they got a call at about 9 o'clock. And one thing I've asked our first responders here is, why was nobody killed. I mean, you see these homes that are destroyed, and one reason they're saying is because of the news media. Because you guys, all evening, including on the 11 o'clock news for some communities, but for others, it was, the word had to get out sooner. You were sending the word out, and so people had a pretty good idea something was happening. And I appreciate that role of the news media as well. Chief Lynch.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you, Chief Sheriff Streck, and thank you, Mr. Portman, Senator. Last night, as you heard, we had a devastating incident, and first of all, I'd like to thank all of you, just like Senator Portman said. You guys made the difference. You saved a lot of lives. We have together today a combined effort. The people helping each other here, and we also have the Central Ohio Strike Team from Columbus. We have the Cincinnati Strike Team, which is the Urban Search and Rescue Team from Cincinnati. We have our own local Urban Search and Rescue Team here in Dayton. And we also activated the FEMA Task Force. We are going from home to home. But one thing I must ask everybody is look out for your neighbors. If you haven't seen somebody that you know, please give us a call at 911 or the non-emergency number 225-4357 if you have not seen one of your friends, your relatives from this area. I think that's very important. Everybody has been helping themselves, and we're going searching building to building. We've already done a complete primary search since last night, and we're looking to do the secondary search right now. We're hoping to wind that up by the end of the day. Any questions?
Injuries?
Injuries. A lot of minor injuries, nothing serious, and the best news of all, 0 fatalities.
Chief, have your firefighters and also sheriff's deputies, whichever one want to handle, have you had to go to the houses and pull people out? Talk about that, if you will.
There were several rescues last night during the time, and crews over in the Main Street Swallow area. There were several houses that we had to go in and remove victims from. There was a couple of cars that were trapped because of live electric lines. That's been a real problem, and the natural gas leaks were incredible out here, especially on this side of the township. I actually had Vectren, who is the gas supplier for this area, shut off the natural gas of this area just to stop those problems from happening.
Where does that stand, like, now hours later? Has Vectren actually turned that back on yet, or still checking?
There's residuals still in the line. Whenever you shut down a natural gas system, it takes a long time to do. It's just not right that instant. So there's residual pressure in the line. We still have a few more leaks on this side of the township. The tornado, whenever it came through, it ripped through, like Sheriff said, from the northwest quadrant of Montgomery County all the way down through the southeast of Dayton. And we worked, the guys, all the rescue teams, the guys and the girls, they started at the southeastern portion of the tornado area and just they're working their way to the northwest.
Sheriff, can you talk about your deputies also having to get involved with firefighters as well and trying to pull people out of houses and make sure they're not in harm's way?
Yeah, just like the chief said, we're here in Harrison Township, but we have to remember Trotwood was heavily affected, Brookville was heavily affected, so there were officers out from everywhere helping each other. There were numerous calls where people were trapped in their house, and law enforcement would have to go to the scene and make sure. Obviously, we leave those hard rescues to the professionals, but if they could get in, get people out, they definitely did. I have guys who suffered several injuries while they're doing it, stepping on nails. They're not wearing the right equipment like the fire department is, but they went out and did everything they could to make sure that everybody was safe, and definitely got some people out of the house.
This is for either one of the two of you. What are you asking people to do right now in terms of other areas you don't want people going back into? Talk about that.
Yeah, one of the things we want to ask, part of the problems we're having is people coming to look. So as all of you probably saw trying to get here, it's at a standstill, these roads. So if you do not have to be in Harrison Township, I'm sure Trotwood feels the same way. I'm sure Brookville feels the same way. Just try to stay out right now. Let the utility companies do what they need to do. Let Urban Search and Rescue, God bless what they're out doing. Let them do what they need to do. Let the fire department do what they need to do. And let law enforcement do what they need to do. There's really no reason to be down here. This isn't a place to come sightseeing. So we want to be able to move around freely and get people the help they need.
Chief, can you talk about how dangerous it is? Because you're already trying to help somebody that may be a victim. You don't need people going in and multiplying how many people you need to help.
Yes, and that's what I was going to jump into. There are still some live power lines here and there, so you need to be very careful. We made this area safe for the news cameras to be here. That is very important to everybody, that please stay home, check on your friends, check on your relatives. If somebody is missing, call 911. Don't come out looking for them. We had several people, probably hundreds last night, that were just coming out, getting in the way, trying to find people, and possibly risking themselves getting hurt.
Still want people to then.
How many outages we're looking at for power outages?
There's probably about 20,000 just in Harrison Township that are without power.
The number we're getting
Wires out there.
on the, let me talk about electricity for a second. The number we're getting from the Ohio Department of Public Safety is roughly 50,000 in the Dayton area without power, and statewide over 70,000, which, as I understand, includes Salina, but also some areas north of Columbus. So about 50,000 people in this area are not able to get power right now.
Talk about, you said you still have some live wires, so do you need everyone in the township to treat wires they see as if they still may be live?
Yeah, if you see wires on the ground, if you're not a professional and know what you're doing, stay away from them. Don't go up there, try to kick them. Oh, let's move this out of the way with your hands or whatever. Don't touch them.
Chief, when you look around, I mean, what's your thoughts?
Devastation. World War III. It's tough. Dollar. This was a men's club over here. A lot of different businesses right here. The township is a mix of we have about 22,000 residents, and we have over 1,500 businesses here in the township. So we have a lot of business here, and a lot of it got devastated last night. So it's going to be a long time coming back.
Sheriff, you talk a lot about people taking advantage of people during a time like this. All morning long, people are coming in to try to steal items from the jewelry shops. You know, what will happen to those people coming in and doing that?
Well, we're going to prosecute them with every ounce energy we have. We're already, one of the things we're doing is we're setting up the security teams now. We're going to do everything we can to protect our residents' businesses. You know, they live here, they work here, we all shop here, so that's one of our main priorities now. Finding people, getting them safe was number one. Now we're going to go to protecting people's property, and if we find somebody inside somebody's business, inside somebody's home, stealing, they're going to go to my jail, and then they're going to be prosecuted.
Probably too early, but any estimate on how many homes and how many businesses?
I can't elaborate on that right now. I'm not sure.
What's next? Where do you go from here?
Where do we go from here? Making everything safe. We've got the Montgomery County Building Department out here assessing buildings, and they're going to take a look. They have several engineers on staff. They will take a look at all the buildings that were damaged. And if you have an issue at your home and you're a little bit worried, call the Montgomery County Building Department, and their phone number is located on the internet. It's a 225 number. I'm sorry I don't have that number for you right now, but they have engineers on site, and we'll send them to your house to see if it is safe to occupy. But it's going to be several years of rebuilding, I'm sure.
club open when the storm hit?
They closed at 5 p.m. yesterday, but we did a complete search anyways. You never know. There could have been a cleaning person in there, somebody hanging over after shift. We still searched. No, they closed at 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was Family Dollar.
Okay.
So anybody that was in stores because it was a holiday, were they all closed by that time of night?
By that time of the night, they would have been all closed at 11 p.m.
So you were just checking to make sure no cleaning crews, security crews, that kind of thing?
Yes, the local USARC team has several dogs that were sniffing around, and they have cameras that they can maneuver into small, tight places and check to see if there's anybody in there. One last thing, I want to thank all the men and women, police, fire, all the responders. Most of them have been out here since 11 o'clock last night, myself included. They have put forth 150% effort.
Sheriff, I want to go back to that looting, kind of the looting and the question. You said if you find them in homes and businesses, you're going to arrest them. Is that even if you have to make more space, you know, at the jail, if there were more than you thought?
Yeah, we got space. We got space for them, and we'll keep them. You know, to me, there's nothing worse than somebody who takes advantage of somebody at their lowest point. We talk about that all the time. So yeah, space isn't an issue. We have space, and once again, it's not going to be a summons and let go. They're going to get locked up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,